Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only AR Legends, and yeah, guys, today I am back with another series for you guys, which is gonna be what if Naruto was neglected by his family and became the heir of all the dragon realms? So, yeah, guys, it is gonna be really interesting and pretty OP of a series. And don't worry, guys, I'm not forgetting about what if Naruto was neglected and was, you can say, took the position of Hokage from Minato by force. I'm gonna do the next part of it after this one. So yeah, guys, hopefully you guys will keep an eye out for that. So yeah, guys, if before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to the channel and have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful to me. And yeah, guys, I have also put the link of my Instagram within the description below. Please follow me on Instagram as well. So yeah, guys, without any further ado, let's start the video. And yeah, guys, for the next part, the like goal is gonna be 150 likes and 80 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. Please guys do that so that I can make the next part. So yeah, guys, without any further ado, let's start the video. I'm gonna start my video in the far away from the elemental nations or any other, you can say, such timeline or realm. A realm existed. This realm was specific for one creatures and one creatures only. Unlike the summoning realms of the Toads and the any other summoning creature, they are just that, summoning creatures, and their realm is really small. But this realm is special, even for their perspective. This was far away from the time and space itself. As a matter of fact, the first dragon creature was made here, and it gave, you can say, birth to its children here. And from this realm, the dragons went to any other realm, such as the fairy tale and any other realm where dragons actually existed, even the elemental nations, as or any other, you can say, specific realms where dragons were to exist actually came from this realm. And at this point, you can say 8 dragons were gathered there from black to, you can say, orange color, as these dragons were simply looking towards the ground with, you can say, utter respect there in their eyes. These were the fathers of all the dragons present in the all the realms that there actually are, and in front of them a single, you can say, dragon was walking. As a matter of fact, rather flying to its throat, as this dragon had, you can say, pure silver skin. The aura of this dragon itself was more than enough to even put Bijus to submission with a mere glance, as the power this dragon possessed was relative or even greater than that of the Jubi itself. As this dragon was looking towards its 8 children, the children he gave birth to millennia ago, and now they were present in front of him in his small council. As he looked towards his children, as one of the orange dragon decided to speak of, "Father, we are here with a specific request to you about a, you can say, really important matter." As the silver dragon looked towards his child, as this dragon name was none other than Zeraf, as not the, you can say, black sorcerer, no, he was also known as Zeraf. As he looked towards his children, the oldest of his all kids, as he looked towards him, as he said, "And what do you have to say about this so-called important matter, my child?" As the orange dragon decided to speak of, "Father, as you already know, our influence over other realms and, you can say, worlds is decreasing by the day. The last dragon slayer, known as the, you can say, Natsu Dragniel, has already passed on a millennia ago, and with time, even, you can say, the existence of the dragons and dragon slayers has already been forgotten. And that is the story of only one world. The dragons in the elemental nations has gone extinct. And not only that, in the other realms, the presence of the dragons is going down by the day, to the point that we are considered only myths to the myths in many of the worlds. And this is the perfect opportunity for those, you can say, phoenixes to, you can say, make their influence known. Not only that, in those realms, those phoenixes are getting more and more influence, while on the other hand we are considered nothing more than myths. As he had anger in his eyes, in many realms dragons were present, But they were getting extinct and now they were considered nothing more than myths. And this angered the dragon realm itself. This realm was very, very special. All the dragons that actually died returned back to this realm and therefore cannot leave afterward because, in every sense of the way, they are dead and they simply cannot die after that. As the silver dragon closed his eyes, he already knew what his child was talking about. The so called rivalry was not from their front. The phoenix were powerful creatures indeed, but they were nothing compared to the dragons. But they decided to announce themselves to be the rivals of the dragon realm, which angered even him, though it was not to be. He did not, you can say, do anything much about it. Though, whenever the dragons and phoenix come, you can say, against each other, the dragons always won. So, calling them their rival was not to be, but phoenix getting, you can say, ground, and they were nothing more than mates in many of the realms. This angered him also, as he said, and what do you propose, my child? As you and I both know that we simply cannot enter into any other realm like that, and most of the dragon kind is already dead. They may have returned back to this realm, but you are not attached to any other realm, and so therefore cannot go into those words any longer. As the dragon nodded at that, we are already aware of that, father. But we were asking for a solution. We simply cannot tolerate our existence converting nothing more than a myth. As the dragon closed his eyes, as his eyes started to shine, and suddenly a small, you can say, orb started to appear, you can say, at the center of the gigantic hallway, as suddenly it changed to form a small crystal. Well, small for them. Actually, it was pretty big. As suddenly it started to shine as the silver dragon opened his eyes as he said, well, the only solution that I can see is for us to gather our power and choose a human to be our heir. You and I both know that humans were allowed to travel through the realm while we can enter it as well, but we were forbidden after, you can say, a anonymous decision by all the other mythical, you can say, creatures, and none of us can travel through realms freely. If we were to do so, other creatures such as phoenixes and the other mythical beings will also do so, and it would cause chaos. So the only way out of it for us to choose an heir in a human realm, and the human can travel through the realms, and with that we shall be able to expand our influence and remind those humans that we are not mythical beings. We are indeed true, and our power is indeed stronger than even the phoenix kind. This shocked most of his children. They were thinking that they would be allowed permission to send some of their, you can say, powerful dragons into those realms to remind those phoenixes who the real boss actually was. But to think that they would have to choose a human to be the heir. Were they really that desperate? As one of the dragon decided to speak of, as it had black scale and skin, as he looked towards his father. Father, are you really sure about that? You and I both know what the humans actually are and how they will misuse that kind of power. As the dragon simply smiled. As a matter of fact, I already have a perfect human in my mind. I have seen multiple futures or multiple timelines of that creature. To be honest, I was pretty intrigued, though some of them are pretty, you can say, he has grown to be pretty powerful, though some of them he has gone pretty dark. But even in those timelines, he had pretty good reason to do so. As a matter of fact, I suppose in one of the timelines he's already has been born. So why don't you guys see for yourself? As his eyes, you can say, glowed, and just like that, multiple timeline history of one human passed through that small crystal ball in front of all of them. To say the dragons were surprised and impressed was a understatement. In many of those timelines, he even surpassed their strongest warriors. And that was really, really intriguing for a human to have that kind of power, as and he was perfect for what they wanted to do, entering into different realms and worlds to show that the dragons were indeed the strongest creature out there in creation. Well, that was a exaggeration, but they were still, you can say, prideful creatures, so they wanted to prove something. As the dragons looked towards each other and started to whisper among themselves, and then they simply nodded at that. Well, if it is your will, father, then we trust you, and we have seen multiple, you can say, futures of that kid who is just born, as you per se. So we agree to make him our heir. As the dragon simply smiled at that. Very well then, my child. So why don't we gather our energy? As they simply nodded at that as they looked towards each other with excited smirks on their faces. It was about damn time that they put those phoenixes in their true position, and that was far, far below that of the dragons. As they smirked towards each other, and just like that, they started to gather energy. All the eight dragons, with their leader, their father, the silver dragon itself, Zadov, started to gather their energy as all that energy started to come together. While in the elemental nation, Minato had just flashed away from one of the tails of the QB, which slammed into one of the building, crushing it completely. As Minato was, you can say, at this point, really tired. His wife had just given birth to three children. His three, you can say, heirs, Naruto, Naruko, and Menma, from oldest to the youngest, respectively. As he was really happy, but suddenly a marksman attacked, but thankfully he was able to repel him thanks to the help of Jiraiya sensei, Tsunade, as well as you can say third Hokage, Minato, was able to summon a toad, which was able to reverse summon Jiraiya, who was at the moment with with Tsunade, as they were able to come back to Konoha and therefore were able to, you can say, help in fighting off against Kyuubi. So they were doing pretty well as Minato was leading Kyuubi towards a specific area where Kushina, after being healed by Tsunade, was preparing the circle to seal away the Kyuubi, and he was getting ready for that. While on the other hand, you can say after some time the dragon's eyes suddenly snap open as they have different type of energies in their eyes. As and just like that, it all that energy started to come together from nine directions and slam into each other and started to make a orb of, you can say, rainbow color as it started to change into the form of a single small pearl, as it had rainbow, you can say, colors shifting from one color to another as dragons simply looked towards each other and nodded. And just like that, while on the other hand, Minato had just, you can say, Kushina had just released her chakra chains and subdued Kyuubi as Kyuubi was trying to roar as much as it could. While on the four, you can say, corners of a circle, Minato, Tadokage, Jiraiya, and Tsunade were present as they were going through hand sign, ready to seal away the Kyuubi inside of the children of Minato. And thankfully, Minato did not have to use, you can say, Reaper that seal, otherwise, he would have to forfeit his life. But thankfully, with the presence of four S-rank shinobi, they should be able to seal away Kyuubi with a different seal. As Kyuubi was roaring, but before they could complete their hand sign, a light started to shine. The light was so bright, even the Kyuubi had to close his eyes as whole Konoha was shining. And while on the other hand, Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Tadokage had to close their eyes as the light was simply too bright for human eyes, even of those of shinobis. As when the light died down as nothing was there, while unknown to all of them, a single pearl entered into the world of the elemental nations and entered into a small child present at the center of the, you can say, crib. As this child had blonde and red hair combined together, as this was none other than Naruto, Uzumaki, Namakase, along with, you can say, Menma and Naruto sleeping, as Naruto absorbed that small pearl into his small body as he started to cry, as his hair started to change into that of silver color and changing back into blonde and red, as it was changing color over and over again and finally died down into a combination of silver, black, silver, red, and you can say blonde. As when the light died down, as they looked around, as Minato was thinking it could be the masked man trying to get Kyuubi from their hands, so he looked towards his sensei and nodded as they quickly started to go through hand signs and completed their, you can say, Jutsu, while on the other hand, Kyuubi simply could not believe his eyes, that presence, that power he felt. He has felt it before. That was eons ago, at the time of his father, Sage of Six Path, being still alive, when they fight off against a creature who was so powerful that all the nine Bijus has to be summoned to fight off that creature and to be defeated, as he remembered what kind of power that creature, that dragon possessed, but it was so long ago and he was not even grown up at that point completely, but still he remembered that power and he felt a power similar to that, but it vanishes as quickly as it came. and he got distracted, and that was a mistake. And just like that, QB was torn apart into yin and yang, half of its power, and slammed into the bellies of Menma and Naruko, sealing him away with a powerful sail. As Minato, along with the other Ascent Shinobis, were now tired. As they looked towards each other with smiles on their faces, they have finally defeated the QB no Yoko. As Minato walked towards Menma and Naruko with smile on his face, even Kushina was smiling even though she was beyond tired at this point. And before she could reach her children, she got knocked out as Tsunade caught her and started to heal her as to her best of her abilities. While on the other hand, Minato noticed that Tsunade was taking care of Kushina, so he walked towards his children ready to see the seal. As he looked towards Menma as he checked his seal, and then he looked towards Naruko and checked her seal as he smiled, but then he looked towards Naruto as he noticed something as Naruto's body was, you can say, getting, you can say, a bit of weaker and weaker as his hair was changing into white as Minato's eyes widened as his mind, alarm bells were going to his mind as he called, Tsunade, come here quickly. As Tsunade looked towards, you can say, Minato, thinking that something has gone wrong with the seal, as she rushed toward the children, as she looked towards Menma and Naruko as she said, Minato, what's wrong? Is the seal is not done properly? As Minato simply shook his head, no, it's not Menma and Naruko, it's Naruto. What is going on with him? What happened to his hair? As Tsunade looked towards the other child as she started to channel her chakra in her hand to examine the boy. As she looked towards him strangely, something was off. His chakra pool was a lot smaller than even for a child. It was so small that she was barely able to detect it, and something was definitely wrong. As she simply shook her head, Minato, I do not know what is going on. I would have to do some tests with him to see what is actually going on with him. I think that we should move to the hospital. As Minato nodded, and they quickly flash away. And now I'm gonna have a small time skip. At the age of 5, a small kid was simply looking down towards his so-called family. His, you can say, sibling Menma and Ruko were training along with his father and mother in the training ground. His godfather was also present in the tree, watching his children or his godchildren with smile on their faces as Naruto sighed as once again he took a seat. As far as he could remember, his parents always avoided him to the point, even when he was a kid, he always remembered he was different from his sibling. According to, you can say, his siblings, he was weak, and according to his body, he could also see that he was a lot weaker than many of the children, and he even had chakra pool. Even at the age of 4 or rather 5, he had a chakra pool, that of a newborn. He do not understand what is wrong with him and why this actually was. But it was the case even when he tried to run. He always got tired a lot quickly, and maybe that was the reason he was weak. That was the reason his parents did not, you can say, like him and always ignored him. Well, in reality, flashback for Minato and Kushina, as after several of tests, Tsunade sighed, nothing, nothing. She could find nothing as she sighed as she looked towards Minato and Kushina as she finally came up with the theory. Minato, Kushina, why don't you guys have a seat? As Kushina had tears in her eyes. Tsunade, what is wrong with my Naruto Chan? As Tsunade sighed as she said, well, Kushina, to be honest, after several tests, even the test which I had to, you can say, discover myself, there is absolutely nothing wrong with the kid. I have came up with the only one possible theory at this point. As Kushina had tears in her eyes, even Minato was looking sad at this point. As Tsunade sighed as he said, well, I think that it has something to do with QP, Kushina. I think that when Menma, Naruko, and Naruto were in your belly, along with the seal of the QB, something must have gotten wrong. The QB must have leaked a bit of his chakra, and therefore the body of Menma, Naruko, and Naruto became sustainable by the power of the QB. Since Menma and Naruko got the QB sealed inside of them, so therefore they wouldn't have to, you can say, nothing to worry about in the future. While on the other hand, Naruto is, you can say, lacking a one specific matter at this point. He needs the power of the QB to sustain his body just like it has developed inside of your belly. When he got the power of the QB there, without it, his body is, you can say, not getting any healthier, and I don't think that he's gonna survive after the age of 6. Even to that age, it would be a miracle, as Kushina could not believe her ears along with Minato. So it was a fault of QB, as Minato got angry at that point along with Kushina, but there was nothing they could actually do about it. So the only thing they could actually do is to keep their distance from Naruto, so that when the inevitable will happen, they will not, you can say, feel much of the pain there, as this was the idea of Jiraiya and Tsunade as they recommended it to both Kushina and Minato, even though they were angry at first, but they realized that if their siblings or the sibling triplets were to be together, they will form a bond, and when Naruto inevitably will meet his feet, then his other children would also be hurt by that. So Minato came up with the decision to keep them separated, so that when the inevitable happened, they will not feel much of the pain there. And just like that, he was ignored to the point, to the age of 5, that he had to, you can say, sneak many pigs to his family dinner so that he could develop his social skills. As he once again sighed, he was getting tired once again, so he took a seat. He did not understand why this actually was and what to do about his current situation, because he was really weak physically at least, but on the other hand, his mind was something else. His mind was that on the level those of Naura's easily, and he was developing pretty well. But he was able to figure out something was definitely wrong with him, maybe some kind of disease. That could be the reason for it all. As Naruto had finally realized that it could be some kind of disease, that was the reason his parents would always vary around him and always keep Menma and Roko away from him. And Naruto, to be honest, understood it, but in the home, it was not, you can say, much fun. He was always in his small room. As he looked around to the room, there was nothing much in the room to begin with. He did not have the attention of his parents, and in the village, that was completely another story. Naruto was not much liked in the village. He already knew that his siblings had some kind of special power. That was the reason they were praised within the village as the hero children. While whenever, well, how few it actually was, he was around the village. Even though that was not much, he could always hear whispers about the cursed child. Apparently, people of the Konoha got the great idea that Naruto was cursed by the QB and its influence. That was the reason he was like that, and therefore the name spread, the cursed child of the fourth Hokage. And he was not much liked by the villagers. They always were glaring towards him with anger in their eyes and always keeping their children away from him. And that got even worse. So Naruto at this point does not know what to do or what to do with his life, because there was literally nothing he could actually do about it. His physical body was so weak that he could barely, you can say, talk or barely walk for some time, and after that he always get too tired, while far away in the realm of the dragons, as you can say, the dragons were looking towards each other as they looked towards their father. As Zarab simply smiled, it seemed that his body is adapting to our power with time. As one of the dragons speak up, so what about his condition, father? We were thinking that the power did not, you can say, bond with his body, and that could be the reason that his body is like that at the moment. As Zarab started to laugh, well, actually, my child, you are wrong about that. Actually, his power is actually growing, converting chakra into our kind of power. Don't worry about it. He will still have access to plenty of chakra. After all, our dragon's body are capable of adopting the power of surrounding. That was the reason the dragons in millennia were able to use any kind of power in any kind of world, even the power of mana, even the power of chakra. And that child shall have access to all kind of powers the dragons had access to all of their time and their original power as well. That is the reason his body is weak at the moment, because it's adopting to our power, and soon enough it shall all come together, and his power will be unleashed to the world of the humans, and our name shall spread once again, and our influence will once again be greater than any other, you can say, creature out there. As the dragons looked towards each other and nodded, after all, they have absolute faith in their father, Zaroff. As while, on the other hand, after some time has already been passed, 7 years has passed at this point since the birth of Naruto, and Naruto, to be honest, had nothing better to do than to sit in his room. But to be honest, lately he was feeling a bit strange. His body was still as the same, but it was a feeling in his own body that something was going on and he did not knew what it actually was. While on the other hand, today it was the birthday of his siblings, twins. Well, they were actually triplets, but to be honest, what he could say about it, he had never celebrated a birthday. While on the other hand, today was the day he had to go down and see all of those people who will once again whisper towards him, point fingers, that how he was a cursed child and things like that, but he will have to tolerate for the sake of his sibling. As Naruto sighed, he had to dress up once again, while on the other hand, Kushina did not knew what to do at this point, as according to Tsunade, Naruto would not survive after the age of 6, but apparently 7 years has already been passed, and to be honest, he was thinking if Naruto was improving physically after the age of 6. When he was about to reach at the age of 6 and a half, she brought him to Tsunade, who once again had several tests on him, but apparently his condition was the same. Though Tsunade said to not keep her, you can say, hopes up, it was still possible that Naruto would not make it to the age of 12, and she had to believe in that. After all, Naruto's condition was not getting any better. His hairs was still that, you can say, dull white, and on top of that, you can say his physical condition was still the same. Even the walk to the hospital has already tired him off too much, and she simply cannot see the suffering of her child, so she decided to distance herself from him even more. And things were getting worse and worse with their relationship with their child. Minato has already given up on Naruto long time ago, to the point that even his birthday was to be forgotten. After all, they have only celebrated the birthday of the twins, not never Naruto's. So it was, you can say, something they had decided on long time ago, and she will have to, you can say, keep her word on that. While on the other hand, this was the day that will change everything. While on the other hand, Naruto was feeling something off with his body. He could just feel it in his body, but he had to go down to the birthday party of Manma and Ruko, and he finally arrived, and just like he thought, there were several, you can say, pointed fingers towards him, and people has once again started to whisper, as you could already see several of the clan heirs and their, you can say, mothers were keeping them away from his direction and pointing towards his siblings. As Naruto saw, to be honest, he liked his siblings, he does not hate them much. Well, not much is the key word, though he finally looked towards them as Minato was announcing that how proud he was of his children, and finally decided to announce, as he said, well, people of Konoha, I have finally decided to, you can say, announce something to all of you. I have decided to make Menma be the heir of the Namikaze clan and Naruko to be the heir of the you can say, Kushina's clan, Uzumaki clan, and Menma shall be the next Hokage as I will train him personally. As all of them started to clap at that, as Naruto sighed, and once again, he noticed around as people were looking towards him with smug, and you can say some of them whispering towards him, and you can say while looking towards him. As Naruto sighed, to be honest, he hated it. He hated it all. Suddenly, he started to feel an anger towards all of these people who were looking towards him. Some of them with pity, some of them with anger, and some of them with glares and pointing towards him. He did not knew from where this anger actually came from. To be honest, he has long, you can say, since accepted his fate that one day he will die just like that, and his, you can say, family will not care. His siblings will be the heir to the clans, and one of them might even be the Hokage in the future. So why was he getting angry? He did not understand it. Unknown to him, his powers were finally awakening. The anger, the wrath of the dragon was coming to his surface. After all, he was the heir to them, and he had the powers of theirs. And just like that, you can say the whole ground started to shake violently. Whole Konoha started to shake as the power was gathering in Naruto's, you can say, eyes. His eyes was changing into that of slate as people were shocked, especially the council members that were present there as they started to look around. This power, it was so dense, so powerful, and it was far different from that of chakra. As if it was a combination of chakra and many other form of energies combined together. As Naruto glared toward all of those people who were looking towards him. What are you guys looking at? As he roared towards them, as they were shocked, as suddenly aura started to surround Naruto's body as his eyes changed into pure silver, as with a slit in them his hair was floating within the mid-air as the whole ground cracked. As while on the other hand Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, Tsunade could not believe their eyes. How is this even possible? As Tsunade could not believe her eyes. She has gone through every test just a few months ago. Naruto's chakra pool was barely greater than that of a infant born, not that of you can say a Uzumaki, no. Only that of a civilian. He had only that kind of chakra. So from where this kind of power was actually coming from? Was she wrong about him? As while on the other hand Kushina could not believe her eyes as an aura of power was pushing her away along with Minato, as Minato simply could not believe his eyes as he tried to you can say do something. After all, the ground was shaking violently as that aura was surrounding Naruto. It was different from chakra, as if it was combined with chakra, but something else entirely. As he was about to do something, as Naruto glared towards them for the last time, and just like that, as he ran for the first time in his life, he ran, and he was like a blur to the most of the eyes that were present there, as he was gone just like that in a flash. While on the other hand, the shinobis that were present there, along with the, you can say, the civilian, the council members, simply could not believe their eyes how the, you can say, the cursed child of the Namakaze family could, you can say, gather that kind of energy and power. And Minato came out of his stupor, still shocked that his son had that kind of power when Tsunade has specifically said that Naruto's chakra pool was no greater than that of an infant, of a civilian born child. And that was you can say not you can say it was to a level that of a cage, and it was still growing at the speed at which Naruto moved. Even Minato was barely able to keep up with that as he quickly came out of his stupor as he said Ambu, and suddenly Ambu dropped in front of him. Bring my son back quickly, as all of them nodded and ran off, while on the other hand Kushina was shaking at that point. That power, it was not something normal, as Tsunade quickly came out of a stupor as he said, Minato, Kushina, what is going on here? As Kushina looked towards Tsunade, Tsunade, I should be asking the same question to you. What is the meaning of this? You said that Naruto's chakra pool was no greater than that of an infant. So from where this kind of power came from? As Tsunade shook her head, Minato, Kushina, I do not know. I do not understand it. That power, it was not chakra. It was or you can say like chakra, but it was different. And how the hell is he, you can say, moving that fast? As Kushina simply shook her head. It does not matter. I'm gonna bring my baby back. As she ran outside, while on the other hand, Naruto was moving at the speeds he never thought he would be moving. To him, he was, you can say, for the first time, he was running. He did not care if buildings were in front of him. He did not care if people were on his way. He simply ran. The anger he was feeling, the frustration, the disappointment, the everything, the jealousy, all of his life, he felt all of those feelings and emotions were coming to the surface as he wanted away from this place, away from all of those people who were looking towards him with pity in their eyes. He was a dragon. He did not need their pity. What? As he simply started to wonder what he was actually thinking about, but he was not thinking clearly as he ran, and just like that, he ran outside of the village. He was moving at the speeds that of a, you can say, cage level shinobi, as Ambu simply could not believe their eyes. A 7-year-old kid was running faster than they could even imagine to the level that of their own cage, while not using the horizon, but still, he was moving too damn fast as they tried to chase after him, but Naruto was running at this point. All of that energy, all of those emotions, the feeling of disappointment in himself, the feeling of jealousy when he looked towards his sibling, the feeling of anger when he looked towards those people who glared towards him and called him a cursed child, all of that was simply driving him to run for the very first time in his life. He ran like a blur as while in the realms of the dragons who were watching it all, as they simply could not contain their glee as they had smiles and smirks on their faces. It was about damn time the dragon in the child were to be awoken, and it seemed that he is coming to them. As the silver dragon simply smiled at that, it seemed that the time has came, my child, as he looked towards the running farm of Naruto as the lightning started to surround his body. His eyes were once again changing color to silver. He was a dragon. He was feeling the pull of the dragon realm to him. He had to go back. He had to go back to the home, as that was the only thought in his mind. So he ran as lightning started to surround his body. Pure, you can say silver lightning. While on the other hand, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kushina, and Minato has just teleported to the area around as they look towards Naruto, who was running. As Minato simply could not believe his eyes, the speed at which he was running. He was becoming like a lightning bolt at this point. As Kushina also wanted to stop Naruto, wanted to hug him, wanted to say that everything was okay. It seemed that they have pushed him too far. As Jiraiya simply could not believe his eyes, what kind of power it actually was. As but before anyone could do anything, as Minato was ready to teleport to Naruto and grab him and knock him out as quick as possible. They were after all in front of, you can say, his coming direction as Naruto was coming towards them. As Naruto's eyes were changing as silver lightning started to surround his whole body as he let out a mighty roar. And just like that, the shockwave collided in front of, you can say, the shinobi's ass. But before it hit them, it tore, you can say, a hole in the, you can say, very fabric of the, you can say, space, and a small hole opened up as Naruto ran towards it. As Kushina, Jiraiya, Tsunade, their eyes suddenly widened, realizing that something was wrong as Naruto was running towards a hole, a portal which appeared out of nowhere. As Naruto ran into the portal as he entered it, and just like that, the portal was closed as two chains tried to grab Naruto, but it was already too late. He has entered into whatever kind of portal it actually was. As just like that, he was gone in that unknown place to never to be seen for a really long time. As Kushina simply could not believe her eyes, her child, her firstborn child was gone just like that. As while on the other hand, Tsunade simply could not understand what kind of power it actually was. Maybe she was wrong after all. She has found no traces of Kyuubi chakra inside Naruto's system, but it was the only possible explanation at the point and most possible theory. Maybe she was wrong after all. While on the other hand, Minato simply could not believe his eyes. His firstborn child was able to not only run to the point, run all across Konoha, and came, you can say, able to tore a, you can say, hole into the fabric of space itself and entered into whatever kind of portal it actually was. Minato was a space-time user, so he was well aware of the possibilities, and it was quite possible that Naruto has teleported into, you can say, some other realm or some other place in the elemental nation with that kind of speed or whatever he did, whatever strange power it actually was. It was not making sense, but making sense at the same time, as he did not knew what to do at this point, as he had taken advice from his sensei to ignore his firstborn child when the inevitable happened so that his other sibling would not, you can say, feel much attached to Naruto, and therefore there would be no complications to the seal or to the village itself. Minato was well aware about the rumors, you can say, going around the village calling Naruto a cursed child, as Minato did not do anything to change it. After all, Naruto would not have survived after the age of 5 to 6, so therefore nothing would have changed anyways. So he did not, you can say, took part in it. Maybe it was a mistake. While on the other hand, Naruto was still running, as he did not knew where he was, and at this point his mind was not working. Only one thing was going in his head. He had to go home. He had to go home, and he has to go home. And so he ran through the portal and finally arrived to the place as all the dragons were gathered there along with the silver dragon Zeref himself. As he looked down towards the portal which was opening into his realm as he smiled, and just like that, Naruto has entered into the realm of the dragons. As finally he arrived, he was sweating, he was, you can say, tired. The lightning that was surrounding his body was dying down, and just like that, it died down. As he looked around, he was confused as what was going on here. He remembered he was in the party, a birthday party of Menma and Naruko, and then those people were looking towards him when his, you can say, father announces that his sibling would be the heir. And for whatever reason, he started to feel angry when those people were looking towards him with pity, with anger, and with, you can say, smugness in their eyes. And he got angry, so angry to the point as he yelled at them, and then he ran. Wait a minute. He ran as he started to remember he running through Konoha, tearing through, you can say, buildings and running through all of it as running in the forest. And then, you can say, he the thought in his mind that he has to go home. And when suddenly that strange energy started to surround his body, and after that he do not remember anything. And just like that, he started to look around, and then his eyes widened when he looked toward those gigantic creatures which was towering over him, and he was like an insect to them. As the silver dragon finally, in the center of it all, the mightiest, the biggest of the dragon finally spoke up. Welcome home, child. And with that, Naruto finally lost consciousness as he was, you can say, tired to the point that he no longer could, you can say, speak anything. His mind was already frozen, so he got knocked out. And the dragons simply smirked as they looked towards each other. They have their heir back home. Finally, it was about damn time that they start his training and show those other, you can say, phoenixes who the real boss actually is. While in the Elemental Nation, Minato has sent such parties after such parties to find his firstborn child, while on the other hand, the whole council meeting was summoned as Minato was dreading it. After all, he has a lot of questions to answer, while on the other hand, he had none of the answers as he finally arrived within the council room as the civilian council, the shinobi council, the elder council was present as Minato finally took his seat as he said, "So, I hereby start this council meeting already knowing, waiting for the music," and just like that, the whole council erupted into chaos as Minato sighed. While on the other hand, Tsunade was going over all the test results she has done over Naruto, all the blood samples that were still present for the first, you can say, further research over it, what kind of disease it actually was, and how to cure it if it were to ever happen in Naruto. After all, she was a Jinchuriki and one day might become a mother as well if she were to reach that age. After all, you can say the expectancy of the age of a shinobi is not that great anyways, as Tsunade was going through each and every test that she has done, and once again, there was nothing, absolutely nothing she could actually find, and she has only few theories at this point, and other than that, she has absolutely nothing. While on the other hand, Jiraiya has been summoned into the realm of the Toads, as after all, Jiraiya has some questions and he thinks that Toads might have the answer for him, so he decided to enter into the realm or the summoning realm of the Toads, ready to get his answer from the great Elder Toad. But hey guys, here I will left this part. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For the next part, you guys already know the like goal and the comment goal. Complete that, and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. Who knows? It could be today. So yeah, guys, it is mainly up to you guys. So yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it, and so please like and subscribe. Peace.